Welcome back to another Ret Paladin video. Verabin here. Today we are looking at the 9.1 Shadowlands PTR, and there are some new legendary abilities available for Ret Paladins, and one in particular looks extremely strong. Looks like it's maybe going to improve our cleave damage, improve our burst, potentially increasing our viability in PvP as well. It's got some really cool interactions with some of the soul binds that are already in the game, so we're going to look at those things and theory craft, see what we can come up with. So stick around, let's take a look. Alright, so over on Wowhead, taking a look at these brand new Paladin legendaries, and there actually are some interesting ones as far as Night Fae and Necrolord. We don't know what the Vent Theory one is going to be yet, but just looking at the other two, I think that it's going to be pretty interesting to see what the Vent Theory one is. But the one that we're talking about today is the Kyrian one. It's called Divine Resonance. Every 10 seconds after casting Divine Toll, you cast it again, 60% effectiveness. This effect lasts 30 seconds. So what that means is that if you're going to run the Ringing Clarity conduit, then that is going to proc as well, potentially. It's only going to be at 60% effectiveness, but that means that you're going to cast Divine Toll, and then 3 times after that, every 10 seconds for 30 seconds, you're going to get another Ringing Clarity, and then another Ringing Clarity, and then one more. So you're going to cast it once. It's going to actually hit 4 different times, and for those 3 times, you can add up this, even if it's at 60% effectiveness, that's still 180%, right? Just 60% times 3, and so that's going to give it, I think, an interesting options as far as PvP and in PvE as well. So I don't know if it's going to be better than Final Verdict for single target, but I'm wondering if for Mythic Plus and for more sustained AoE situations, it could be better than Tempest of the Lightbringer, because you're going to have really strong holy power generation during those times. One of the things that's going to be challenging with this legendary, I think, is that because it's going to generate, if you're running Ringing Clarity, it's going to generate potentially a lot of holy power for you, and you're going to have to plan around it. You're going to have to get a weak ore or something like that, and that way, when every 10 seconds, you want to make sure you dump your holy power, and then the Divine Toll is going to go off, you'll get more holy power, and then you'll be able to dump it, and you'll have to plan around it a little bit. But I think for Mythic Plus, it's definitely going to be a really good option. We're going to jump into the game now, though, and kind of look at some of the other interactions that it's going to have with our soul. Alright, so we're over on the PTR, and one of the biggest things that is going to make this legendary really strong is the Pelagos Soulbind. So at the very top, I know you guys are all familiar with this combat meditation. This is going to increase our mastery 350 for 10 seconds. Now, coincidentally, maybe not coincidentally, but this is going to align really well with the Divine Resonance legendary, because you're going to get that 10 seconds of combat meditation, and it's going to get extended a little bit through the little the sorrowful memories, the little blue things that pop out. You're not even going to have to use those if you use the Divine Resonance legendary, because you're going to get that proc, and then 10 seconds later you're going to get it again, because it's going to cast Divine Toll again. Now, it's not 100% clear, because these legendaries aren't available for testing yet. It's not 100% clear whether all of the things that affect Divine Toll are also going to affect this legendary. I think we have to assume that, though, because of the way it's worded. It said it casts Divine Toll again. That's what the tooltip says. It says after you cast Divine Toll, it casts it again with 60% effectiveness. So to me, that means things like combat meditation are going to be affected. It means that Ringing Clarity is going to be affected by it. And I'm not sure there's any other interactions in here that we would necessarily be concerned about. But if we move away from Pelagos, and I'm not sure that you're ever really going to be able to change away from Pelagos with this Soulbind, because the combat meditation is so strong. I mean, if you think about it, you're going to cast Divine Toll, and then you're going to have 40 seconds of combat meditation, right? Because you're going to get the initial cast, and then it's going to cast it after 10 seconds, then after 20 seconds, and after 30 seconds. So you're going to have 40 seconds of 350% or 350 mastery. So it's going to be up 2/3 of the time. It's going to be up constantly, and when you get to higher key levels in Mythic Plus, especially, that uptime on it's going to be really important. Most of the pulls probably aren't going to take you 40 seconds, but you're going to have that uptime for a really long time, especially doing those bigger pulls that might take a little bit of time to get down, especially when you're doing kind of middle keys or even lower keys when you have maybe lower DPS on your team. So another one we want to look at is Mechanicos down here. Now at the very bottom of Mechanicos, you can see Divine Tool releases a blast of overcharged anima at your target's location, dealing damage split evenly between the targets. This damage isn't a whole lot of damage, but it is going to be, it is obviously going to get improved a little bit because of the Divine Resonance legendary. Additionally, reduce the cooldown of Divine Tool by 4 seconds per affected enemy to a maximum of 20 seconds. Now, it's not clear to me whether this particular one is going to be affected by Divine Resonance. I have to kind of assume that this one won't, because this would be really, really overpowered. So if you take this Soulbind, we're going to go ahead and activate it and show you how this works. So if you're over here and you hit it, you can see the cooldown it's up, and then when you hit the Divine Toll, it only has a 40-second cooldown. But if you take Divine Resonance, then it's going to cast it again 10 seconds later, so it would cast it again, and then it will reduce the cooldown by 20 more seconds. So you would be able to just basically constantly spam Divine Toll. So I don't know if this particular one, and this particular Soulbind makes me think that maybe this won't be affected by Divine Resonance, or maybe it will. Maybe it will make Mechanicos actually extremely strong, because keep in mind, those future versions of Divine Tool aren't going to hit as much, they're not going to hit as hard, and you're not going to have the combat meditation boost from Pelagos. So so you're going to lose all that mastery, but what you're going to gain is the anime accelerator damage, and then you're also going to gain constantly being able to use tons of Divine Toll. So your holy power is going to go through the roof. I think this is going to be an interesting one. If this actually does work with our Divine Toll and Divine Resonance, then I don't know. We'll have to see the sims and things like that. We'll see how it kind of works, but this seems like it will be extremely powerful in a lot of different versions of the game, as far as improving our cleave damage significantly, as well as improving our holy power generation as well. So this is definitely one to keep an eye on. Alright guys, thank you for watching the video. We're going to keep an eye on this particular legendary. I think it's going to be extremely powerful for Kyrians. It's probably going to cement Kyrian as the pick for Ret Paladins, both in PvE and in PvP. So no matter what game mode you're using, if this goes live the way it does, it's going to be extremely powerful. So please be sure to hash that like button and subscribe for more Ret Paladin content. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.